Things I wish I had known before baby number 2. I wish I had known just how hard it would be and to adjust my expectations accordingly. A little backstory, our first baby came after a couple years of struggling with infertility and loss. We wanted nothing more than to have a baby of our own. Since I was a little girl, I knew that being a wife and a mom was the thing that I wanted most in life. So having that finally come true for us was just absolutely incredible. Our first baby's infancy was absolute bliss for me. I loved every single moment. I didn't even mind being up all night changing diapers and feeding. Every baby has their quirks and things to adjust to, but overall, our first baby was so easy and such a dream. Our second baby came when our first was 20 months old. So he wasn't quite fully aware of what was happening and was mostly indifferent to the baby, which I had expected. But I'm sure it was really confusing for him to all of a sudden have my time split between him and another baby, and he had started acting out in ways that he'd never had before. My husband also spent a good chunk of his 2-week paternity leave helping both of our parents with moving houses and housework and things like that. And then he went right back to work after that, where he works late some nights. So it felt like I had just been thrown into life with a newborn and a toddler, basically 2 babies, all while I was still trying to recover from the shock of a slightly traumatic delivery. So needless to say, our second baby's infancy wasn't anything like our first baby's was. I wish I had known ahead of time to basically give my husband permission to tell everybody else no. I really needed his help during those first few weeks. Neither of us really expected this because the first month or 2 of our first baby's life, I was totally on top of it. I had no problem taking care of him by myself, and I didn't realize how much harder it was gonna be with a second. I wish I had taken more time to rest and recover and not leave the house for basically a month after birth. I wish I had known to ask for help when I needed it the most. Getting our toddler to bed on my own was the most challenging part during that newborn phase, and the time when I lost my patience most frequently. So I wish I had just asked somebody to come help me get our toddler in bed on nights when my husband was working late. I wish I had known a little earlier on that sudden and uncontrolled anger and rage were signs of postpartum depression and anxiety. I wish I had known how important minerals and eating enough food were for building up nutrient stores and preventing depletion and minimizing those symptoms. I wish I had eaten more carbs with my protein and fats like honey and fruits to be able to build up those minerals that I needed. I wish I had soaked in the baby sweetness a little bit more. I look back on pictures of that time and I just well up with how tiny and sweet they were. I wish I had been able to remind myself to relax and not worry so much about schedules and preventing messes. When you're in the thick of it, those things just feel absolutely monumental in your mind. Something that entered my mind frequently, but I recognize now was an absolute lie, was the thought that my children would be better off if somebody else was their mom. I didn't feel equipped enough to handle that season, the one that I'm like slowly just now starting to exit out of, and I felt like a failure to my husband and kids every single day. So please be encouraged and know that you are the best mama for your babies. God has given you these babies for a reason, and no one on this earth can replace you in their lives. Keep hanging in there. This season of chaos will be over before you know it. You've got this, mama.